Tommy, obviously huge commiserations and disappointing, but your first take on that match?
I thought we won the first half and they won the second half. It's as simple as that. I thought we came out and played the way I thought we needed to play against this side, and I thought we created enough chance to have been a lot more than 1-0 up at half time, but we didn't manage to get the rewards for the very good play that we did actually. And then they had the spell in the second half and they did capitalise, but the two goals we've conceded, you know, and then the point fingers at anybody, but they're just ricks from us, so we've let them back in the game. And ultimately, the timekeeper again has got some time from somewhere that I didn't know. I know we scored in the 5 minutes of added time, but it was actually after the added time, so it's over. The game should be done. And I'm disappointed that we haven't won the game. That's what at the end of the day, we know what's happened elsewhere. Means it doesn't matter to you guys or to certain people, but it matters to me because I like to win. So, listen, I genuinely believe I've got as much out of this group of players as I possibly can, probably more than they thought they could do. Made us competitive. I've seen at least 5 or 6 teams in the division that are not as good as us, and I just wish I'd been here earlier.
Yeah, absolutely, because the record speaks for itself with points per game, etc. But you once again tried manfully, and a game that twisted and turned.
Yeah, I mean they've got their really experienced strikers in Pittman and Barnett, and they're a handful. And it's one of the very few games we've played against anybody where I felt they pushed us around a bit and they bullied us a little bit. And that's people who I think are good defenders, Josh and Ross and Tyler. So it was a different puzzle for us today. It wasn't a footballing puzzle from their point of view. It was just a physical thing. And like I said, it's one of them things where I have to take stock, have a look. I always analyse myself and the staff and see what we did, whether we could have done anything different. But ultimately, there's accountability from before I came in the building, and that ultimately is why we are where we are.
Because defensively, wasn't Lynn today, was it?
It hasn't been. I mean, last week, if we'd have defended like we did last week, we'd have won the game 3-0. But we didn't. And again, consistency is a word we all hear bandied about everything. Officials, footballers, anything. And that's when you're not at the top of the table, it's because you're not consistent. That's what it is. The consistent sides, you're either consistently poor and you'll be at the bottom, or you're consistently good and you'll be at the top. If you're in the middle, which is where I think we should have done, that will reflect 2 halves of a season. So they were consistently poor for the first half of the season, but we've actually done okay. You know, like you said, if you'd run a table from the time we came in the door, we'd be middle of the table. So I'm gutted because we've ended up failing in what I came here to do. So I'll have to speak with the chairman and see where he sees the club going from here. But I genuinely believe this size town and this size football club should compete at this level. I don't think it should win it, but I think they can compete at it. We've proven that, and that's something I can take home and be proud of, really.
Were you aware of what was happening in the Old Trafford game at all during the game?
No, only when the penalty was given. I looked round and the chairman managed to catch my eye and said it when he just shook his head and put 3 fingers in the air. So I thought it was only then that I realised. I didn't want the players to know. They kept asking me, and I said, "Oh, no." So at the end of the day, we haven't got our business done, have we? If we'd won and they'd have lost, we know we'd have been standing here again, and I'd been keeping the lights on, you know, of hope for Monday. But now we've got to be professional, and that's what I am, a professional person. We'll prepare correctly. We'll travel down there tomorrow. The lads will have a little bit of a recovery session in the gym and in the pool where we're staying, and then we'll go at it again and I'll try and win the game.
Just on Paul Jones, not that he had an awful lot to do, but it would have been nice and probably fitting if he'd have been able to save the penalty after that tremendous save at the start of the second half.
Yeah, that was a hell of a save, to be fair to the lad. I think you said he hasn't had a lot to do. We've been busier in their books than they have in ours. But there again, you know, if you don't need to make as many chances but still score 3 goals, there's something lacking at the back end of our pitch. And it's one of them days where people who've been really consistent for us made a couple of errors. And listen, people make errors all over the pitch, but when it results in a goal or a penalty, you tend to only notice it at either end of the pitch when the striker doesn't score, or if the goalie doesn't save it, or the defender makes a lick. So, listen, I'm not going to go through it too much with a fine-tooth comb. I've just got to take the medicine, understand where we are. We've got to start planning immediately, because there's some lads in there who like me, some who don't like me, neither of which I'm bothered about. but I'll probably have to start making decisions for certain people's futures. So that's the next task of the manager at a football club. So I'll be having conversations with the chairman, like I said, to see where he wants to go, and then I'll start talking to the players as soon as next Saturday's game's over.
So those conversations will happen after the season's finished?
Well, I didn't want to do it. I've spoken to one or two players that I expressed an interest to retain, who are coming out of contract, and they were positive, but then they obviously all want to play in this league, natural. So we'll have to see what their options are now, and because we can't offer them National League football, but we can offer them National League North football. So we'll just see how many of them want to do that.
So 2 to go. It's just pride and the passion that they've shown, and getting positive results in there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my aim since I walked in the door is to better the group, and try and get as many points on the board as I can. If we can go and win 2 more games, it'll be quite an epic adventure, to be honest with you, from where we were when we got in the building. So, I pride myself on being tough to beat in terms of the way we play the game, but I also pride myself on being able to score goals. And we weren't doing either of them 2 things when I came in. We were conceding far too many goals. They said we conceded 3 today, but we've been in positions to win so many games, and I have to say that's when you realise the group just aren't quite good enough for the level. That's not any of the individuals, it's just the group that was amassed at the beginning of the season didn't get enough points, simple as that.
Relegation is a horrible feeling. Is it something you've
Yeah,
had to feel before?
I've been relegated before, and I've bounced straight back up. Tends to be when you get relegated as a player, you tend to get moved on. So like I said, them conversations will be hard. But ultimately, everybody I think knows we've been punching above our weight. But we have to move on. There's things going on in the world that are much more important than football. People's health. There's been war going on not that far away from here. So from that point of view, we just have to take stock, and we should enjoy the last 2 games. There's no pressure on the lads. And listen, they've been working in a very pressured environment for a long time now, because I don't think I'm amiss when I'm saying most people had us relegated by January, February possibly. And I understand that because of the gap. But we've taken it to the last week, and we deserve credit for that. So I'm not going to be ranting and raving or shouting at any of them. I've just thanked them all for their efforts and said what I've said to you about and how they're playing for their futures.